Hey guys, it's Josh.
And Kim.
And we're back. You know, we have a Q&A video today. We just got excited and thought it'd be something cool to do. And we were pretty pleased with some of the questions that we got from our followers on Instagram. So as a lot of our friends and family. We're just going to go through a couple and try and give the best answers that we can. Hopefully you guys get a little bit more insight into our lives. So my wife's going to read the first one.
Okay. So it says, who takes longer to get ready?
I feel like this was an easy one. We started with something light and simple, you know. It's very obvious who takes longer to get ready.
I'm just kidding. It's me.
Yeah, my wife. I pretty much lay in bed until she's about 3/4 of the way done. And then I get ready, and then I say, okay, are you ready now? And she's like, yes. And then I start walking out the house, and she's like trying to put her shoes on and do her lipstick and do the thing. And then we park at church, and she's still trying to finish getting ready in the car. It never fails.
It's
yeah,
hard. It's hard to be ready.
the wife takes a lot longer. So I'm going to read a question here. This one just says favorite thing being married. So I'm guessing favorite thing about being married. Are you want to go first or me?
No, you can go first.
Okay. One of my favorite things being married is just like when we were talking, dating, courting, whatever, like the worst part, and I feel like everybody has the same thing, the worst part is like having to leave, especially when you're having such a good time, you know, like I know we most of our like hanging out and most of our getting to know each other was done at church or at 180 or youth group or whatever. So when it ends, it's like, oh my god, this sucks. Like, we're having such a good time. And then, like, if any of you guys know my dad is, like, so abrupt. Like, I remember we'd be at 180, and he would just, like, come in, like, half an hour early before the 180 was supposed to end. He's like, come on, we're leaving. I'm like, no. So, I think one of the best things about being married is, like, never really having to leave. You're always with the person that you love, decided to marry, and no. But basically I never have to leave, and we spend a lot of time together. We love just being around each other. I don't know if I'm taking all your answers, but
I know, I'm like, geez.
I would take all the answers so that it makes her seem like she doesn't really love me. No. But yeah.
That is one of mine. But I'm gonna say something else. I would say, dang, you did take all of that. No, I would say I love being like all the time together, and also one thing I would say is just like being able to like, you know, now we're like able to go to church together and, you know, serve together and being able to hold hands while we're worshiping God.
Yeah.
It's like the little stuff, but it's like it's just amazing to do, and it's something that, you know, I don't know. It's just
it's good.
It's just good to do, and yeah. I mean, you took them like that's like good. You can give good answers.
That's the goal. Okay, so your turn.
My turn. Okay. I'm just kidding. It says, what were some of the biggest lessons you learned from dating that played into marriage?
That's a good question.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Yes, because then he's going to take them all.
I'll listen to you.
I would say, okay, wait, let me read the question. What were some of the biggest lessons you learned from dating that played into your marriage? I would say, for me, one of them is like, just before we were married, something that obviously I did, it's just like your relationship with God. It's like you need to make sure you're on, you know, praying, you know, reading, because it's like that's something that you're going to need obviously anytime in your life, but it's like when you're married even more so, because now it's like two people are joining together that are, you know, you're different. Obviously, yeah, we have like a lot of the same similarities. What?
Nothing.
Laughing at me.
I'm just drinking.
But So I would say that's something that you need to learn as individuals, like when you're dating, like, you know, your relationship with God, like that comes before obviously your spouse. Oh, courting, dating. Before, obviously, it comes before your spouse and anything else. So I would say that is a big part that I would say that I learned. Is just like doing that even more so, even if you are busy. It's like you always have to take time to pray and read and pray for each other, you know, and pray together. That's I would say that's a big thing to do.
That's good. You hear it all the time, like, be the person that you like are seeking. You know what I mean? Have all the qualities that you are seeking in somebody else. So I think one thing that I've learned in our marriage, or you know, even back to like us courting or dating or talking, whatever, is that like I want to be like the type of person that I would want. You know what I mean? I mean, I found her, but you know what I mean? Like going back, like the things that I desired, I know that I would want those things. Like I know I want them, so I know that I should try to emulate those things because I know somebody else would want them. You know what I mean? They're good qualities. It goes into another question that I'll just go into that question because to me they go like hand in hand. And it says, any advice for singles on things they should do before marriage or things you wish you did? And I don't have any things that like, oh man, I wish I would have done this before I got married. Like selfish things like, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have bought this, or I wish I would have spent my money on this, or I wish I would have been able to do this before I was married. Because like the thing, I mean, it's like the thing I look forward to now is like doing those things with my wife. Like I think that's going to be really cool. But there are things that I wish I did in preparation for marriage. Like one of the things that I know we dealt with and struggled with so much was like the rules that our church had towards dating and courting, and like we never wanted to listen to them. We thought they were dumb and all this stuff. But like now looking back, it's like, man, they are so beneficial. Like I wish we would have followed more of the rules, or I wish we would have followed them for longer, because like there's a lot of regrets that I know I have in our dating history, just like dumb mistakes that I made, where like if I would have, you know, followed the rules, first of all, just with her, and just you know, just stood friends for longer and got to know each other as friends, there wouldn't have been as much like hurt that we had to deal with in our marriage, and it would have been and I think it would have been blessed because of that. So my advice, I know I'm getting super deep, but my advice to any singles that are, you know, are thinking about getting married or hoping to get married one day is in those relationships, seek out, you know, first God, seek out the advice from your pastors, and don't seek out your friends' advice. Not in a bad way, but like I feel like a lot of friends do what they think. I think
if you have a true friend that's not going to be just telling you what you want to hear, because obviously we're telling you.
Yeah, obviously.
So I would like, for me, I would say like if you're single, it's like everything, of course, that you were saying, but also not like only if you go to our church in general, because a lot of people, you know, go to different churches. But I would say like how he said, it's like don't tell the person that you like them, or don't tell all these people, because then it's like, okay, now it's like pray about it, and it's like, yeah, sometimes it's like it sucks waiting, but it's like, don't you want to, like, you want to make sure that that's the person, you know, because it's like marriage is serious. It's not just like, oh, it's boyfriend, girlfriend. It's like, no, like, you know, you it's forever, you know. So it's like, and one thing I would say, it's like you want them to love God, because I think that's like the best quality, at least in, like, for example, for my husband, like that's something I prayed for. I was like, I want somebody that's gonna serve God, that's not gonna be, you know, like here at church and then different at home, or oh, I'm like, you know, having to worry about like, oh, are they gonna go to church the next time? It's like, so I would say like write down, like I write down, like, or when I pray specifically like, God, this is what I want in a man, or this is what like you would want in, well, now we're married, but for the people that are not married, you know, like what you want in a wife or what you want in a husband, and like, but one thing it's like you want them to serve God because that's the only way it's gonna be done the right way, and it's you're gonna have a blessed marriage. And like, I feel like we're blessed, you know, because we put God first. And not saying you're not gonna go through things, but it's like you have God, and that's who you're gonna rely on and
that's good.
get you through it, you know.
Yeah. So in summary, my answer would be things that I wish I would have done is follow the advice and the leading of the pastors, and godly friends. Godly friends is what I meant originally. Godly friends, because you know it could have helped a lot. Not saying that we don't have a blessed marriage now. I think we have a totally blessed marriage, and I love being married to my wife, and you know, we're having new and exciting adventures every day. But sometimes I think like, man, if it's this awesome right now, like imagine like the head start we would have had, if you know what I mean. So get the head start.
That's and even if you already like, let's say,
you
like,
can always,
it's like God gives you a new day to start. It doesn't mean be wishy-washy. It means go forward and continue to go forward.
It means if you have messed up in the past, change it now and live on and God can bless it.
So it says, how do you guys cheer the other up when you guys are in an argument or when you guys have finished an argument?
We don't argue.
Yes, we do. We're human. I'm just kidding. I would say, how do we cheer each other up? I would say we take a minute, and we'll talk about whatever it is. Like first we're like quiet, and then we're like, okay, like give us a second. Give each other a minute to like, you know, because you don't want to lash out or anything, but I would say we talk about it. And then, like, one thing we try to make sure it's, like, okay, like, basically that we hear each other out. Like, okay, like, if I said something and he felt some way, it's like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm hearing what he's saying and not just, like, okay. I think the same with, like, if I'm saying something, like, you need to make sure, like, you know, you're hearing what I'm saying, you know? And then even, like, not the last time, but, like, when we even, like, prayed after, we're like, okay, God, like... Like, sometimes it's like the dumbest stuff that you argue about. It's like, seriously. So, like, to cheer us up, I think we would just, like, even though it feels awkward because you're just, like, argued, like, he'll say something funny or, like something to, like, break that, like, awkward silence, I guess I would say. But I would say like that. And then just get over it after. Just kidding.
I think letting go of things is, like, one of the main things. I feel like I'm super blessed with this. Like, God gave me like the shortest attention span when it comes to.
You're a guy. I'm just kidding.
It might just be because I'm a guy. I don't know. There might be guys that aren't, but like if we're arguing or something like that, I can be like, you know, I can apologize or she can apologize, and I'm like, okay, and like I'm already somewhere else. I don't it's already gone from my mind. I don't even think about it anymore. But one of the things she said a lot of the things that we do, like, after an argument or after we're discussing something, like, you know, we hear each other out, we pray about it, we always you know, apologize if anything gets, you know, heated or anything like that, because this is the number one relationship. So first we have to, you know, make everything right with God, but this is the number two relationship, so I have to make sure everything's right between us too. But I think one of the, like, things that we do to, like, cheer you up. Cheer up. No, but cheer to cheer each other up. Like, I think there's a couple things. Like, one thing that she said to me the other day, and I was laughing so hard because she was like, she said, I don't like arguing, and I was like, I don't like arguing either. And she's like, well, then don't argue with me. And I lost it. I started laughing so hard. It was funny. And so then I've said that once after the fact.
And we don't argue.
Yeah, we don't argue a lot.
So literally it's for the dumbest reasons ever.
And that's usually what gets us, because I feel like we are very similar in a lot of our, you know, personality traits. Yeah. So we get along really well, and like, we're always on the same page with like everything, but you know, sometimes there's just dumb stuff that, you know,
Which is normal. I
yeah.
mean,
If you're
I would
married,
say
you'll know.
that, and also just out there because it's with the question to me, kind of. I mean, I would just say don't ever go to sleep mad, because that's not gonna solve it, because it's still gonna be in there, even if it's a new day. It's like always, even if it's pride like that doesn't want to let you, it's like always apologize. And it's like, this is the person you're living with forever, so it's like you want to make sure you guys are both happy, you know. So
yeah. So I think we'll do 2 last questions. Which one do you do last? Oh, okay. The one I'm gonna say is, what has been our favorite memory being married? And they didn't put any caveats on it or anything like that. So obviously, favorite memory would be wedding and honeymoon, because like wedding's like, you know, so far best day of our lives, and the honeymoon was just like this big party that happened afterward, because we were like living it up in Hawaii. We can't wait to go back, and I feel like you know, we were watching like Lilo and Stitch last night. We're like, we want to go to Hawaii, but
I would say, what was it? What's the best part of being?
The best memory in our marriage.
In our marriage, he said obviously all the good ones that I would say as well, but I would say, I think just seeing each other grow, because I feel like we've grown a lot, and that's like, I think, amazing to see, because that's what you want. You want to continue growing, not just be like satisfied with, okay, I'm good now. It's like, no, you want to, like, I want him to continue growing, he wants me to continue growing, and I want, you know, obviously our marriage to continue growing, obviously for things of God. So I would say that. And of course, being in Hawaii, that's like amazing.
We got to plan another vacation soon.
Yeah, so I would say that. And then,
what's your last question?
Well, I would say if we're planning on having kids soon.
Oh yeah.
We're having.
What? No. I was just answering the question.
No. Yeah, if we're planning on.
Okay, guys. So news from this video. That's why I posted. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
When we're planning on having kids, and how many?
Soon. I would say soon.
Yeah.
We are planning on having kids soon.
Yeah.
And then how many I want to have 4. How many do you want to have?
We got to make a whole worship team. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I don't know if it's down or up or somewhere over here. But also, if you guys have been watching our videos, go ahead and subscribe to us. We're going to be, you know, like we said, we're going to stay on top of making videos. And if you guys have any suggestions, you know, a song you want us to cover, or anything else. If there's a challenge or something like that you want, you know, write it down in there. Leave some comments so we can know you guys are watching, know you guys are there. So you guys, peace out.